So I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy for all the keyboard warriors out there, right? So I had someone message me in my inbox and say, and many other people say, I do 10,000 mile oil change intervals. Toyota recommends a 10,000 mile oil change interval. What do you got to say about that? I say, YouTube has plenty of master technicians who no longer work for YouTube, who have their own channels and will tell you to do not follow Toyota's recommendations for oil change intervals, and they've torn plenty of motors down to prove exactly what I've been saying for years.
Well, I have something to say on that.
And hold on, my first video was don't believe the hype about oil change intervals, because they're all effing liars out there. So don't believe the hype was my first YouTube video about why not to follow manufacturer oil change intervals and do it sooner than later. But go ahead. You're on, Jude.
So, perfect example. I was talking to somebody about this last night. They said, well, essentially in an engine, if you replace all the components, would it be a new engine? And I said, no.
No.
Because the block still goes through heat cycles.
Correct.
Which weakens the metal at a molecular level.
True. Or it could cure it too.
Could. But an engine, you use the oil, and I get that, that's cool, but look at drag racers and all of these high performance vehicles that, you know, they make a lap, they make a pass at the drag strip, and then they're changing oil.
They're changing the oil.
Look at Top Fuel dragsters, 10,000 horsepower. They literally tear the entire motor apart in the pits and replace all the parts.
And they're not reusing the oil.
They're not reusing the oil. They're not doing anything.
Well, F1 and all that stuff, you know, when they do 24 hours, they're not, I don't know what their oil change interval is on that when they've been driving for 20 hours, but I'm sure their pit stop is get the oil out.
Like 24 hours of Le Mans,
Yeah.
All that just, but you look, your car is the same thing as all of these cars, yet
similar.
Crazy horsepower, you know what I mean?
Well, I will say the older engines, we'll say like your engine there, that motor from the Mazda, doesn't have variable valve timing.
No.
So they don't have super ultra micro screens in them that get sludged up easier than a vehicle that doesn't have VVTs, which most vehicles now have multiple VVTs and screens and filters. So, you know, these oil analysts out there say, oh, this engine oil has 10,000 miles on it and it could still lubricate for longer. Well, it can't clean anymore when it's black and sludgy.
Exactly.
It could still lubricate, but it's clogging up your piston rings and sticking to this, and you're clogging up your VVT. So do your research, because all these guys out here that have my skill set aren't lying to the world. The proof is in all the videos. The information is free.
And you know, what's you know, say you're getting an oil change. Say you're paying $60 for an oil change every 3,000 miles. It's better than paying 10 to 20 grand for a new engine or buying a new car.
Toyota doesn't even, they're master Toyota techs that I follow on YouTube, because I follow guys that give good, valid information based on their experience and knowledge, like myself. They don't even rebuild short blocks in. They get a new short block from Toyota and they recondition the cylinder head.
You're looking at, you know what I mean, depending on your driving habits, like I understand if you're doing, you know, if you're doing 500 miles a day, I could understand not getting your oil change at 3,000.
Yeah, but if you have an oil consumption rate of a quart every 1,500 miles and you don't check your engine, your engine's going to be out of oil in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm saying if you're doing 500 miles a day and your engine's not consuming any oil, or very minimal oil.
Correct.
Because it will consume oil.
Yep.
I understand not going and getting a $60 oil change every fucking
500 miles. Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
They still should do it.
I agree, but again, I understand it if you push it over to like 5,000.
Yeah, like Carl. I mean, he has 240,000 miles on that van, and he went 5,000 or 8,000 miles and he pushed it. I mean, the motor doesn't smoke, it doesn't burn any oil, but the top ends,
it sounds like
the 3.6, because those little rollers don't last long, but he's never had really any internal mechanical failure but he did a lot of driving, so he's in here every 3 weeks for an oil change. Right, every 3 weeks for an oil change.
Put 200 oil coolers in it. Done plenty of other vans, but
right, 2 engine oil coolers and 230,000 miles, which is par for the course. But he's here every few weeks getting oil changed on because he's doing that mileage. Yep. At $90 an oil change for his car. But 240,000 miles, He doesn't need a motor.
Yeah.
He needs
You know what?
rollers,
That
but
car will last him.
He needs a
for-
trans.
it needs a transmission, right? So the motor out. But I'm saying, yeah, like he said, he's doing heavy miles. He's in every 3 weeks or so for an oil change. And the oil's not black when we take it out.
No, it really isn't.
It's not. It's pretty
There's no
clean.
metal flaking, nothing. It's very, for the mileage and how beat to hell that car is.
Yeah. Carl's not easy on it.
It's
And
not
Susie's car too, with the original motor. They're coming in every 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
And it's
They're at high 200s now, I think.
like 260, I think, or something like that. Original motor, 3,000 mile oil change intervals.
Cars beat. but
Cars
the
beat,
motor's good.
but the motor and trans are still going.
And in my opinion, these newer cars, if you don't do the 3,000 mile oil change, they're just gonna fall apart.
That's it.
Well, and it really does depend on the motor too. Like any GDI motor gets your oil changed very, very regularly.
Yeah.
Because the part buildup.
Yeah. GDI, diesels. It's a whole different engine. But I'm saying now that almost every car's a GDI, which is high pressure in the combustion chamber. Yeah. Cool. Good discussion.